Thank you, and thank you for a bit more optimistic report than we've had in the past years. Let me talk about a problem we still have, the pilot shortage problem in the Air Force, the pilot shortage problem generally, and also pilot training. It's been estimated that there is approximately a 2,000 pilot shortage in the Air Force, including 950 fighter pilots. Boeing reports that North America will need 117,000 more pilots over the next 20 years. What are we doing about this? Are we going to max out the UPT bases? And what about this somewhat controversial proposal to add a new contractor-run undergraduate pilot training facility? You want to start first, Madam Secretary?
Senator, I will. You're right that there is a national shortage of pilots. The airlines are going to be hiring over 4,500 pilots a year for the foreseeable future, and they can't hire anyone for the airlines who have less than 1,500 hours of flying time or 750 hours with the Air Force. There is an inverse relationship between hiring in the airlines and retention in the services. We're going to have to face that challenge. We're facing it in three different ways. The first is to validate our requirements. How many pilots do we really need? And really scrub those numbers. The second is we're trying to do everything we can to retain the pilots we have with quality of service, quality of life, reducing the operating tempo, giving them more choice and options to be able to manage their own careers so that we keep more pilots on active duty. And they came to serve. So there are ways to increase retention, but retention can't be the only answer. Third is we have to increase the number of pilots we're training. The first step is to maximize the capacity of the pilot training bases that we have. The maximum capacity, we trained about 1,100 pilots last year, I think was the number. The maximum capacity of our current infrastructure is about 1,400 pilots a year.
So that's 3 UPT bases?
Yes, sir. Plus, yes, sir. Shepherd. The current UPT bases we have, it's about 1,400, and it has to do with the airspace, training ranges, runways, ramp space, but it is about 1,400. When you get beyond that, we are looking at whether we should have some flexibility with some contractor undergraduate pilot training, and we are looking at that option. It gives us the ability to increase for a bit and to recover faster and also to ramp back down without affecting the indigenous Air Force capability. So it is an option that we're looking at. Chief, do you want to?
Sir, I'll just add that as we look at this, as you might imagine, we've been out eyeball to eyeball with our pilot force, listening to them, squinting with our ears to make sure we understand, what are those actions that we could take that would keep them in the Air Force. Because the part we can't control is the overall problem statement, and that is that we as a nation don't produce the pilots we need to adequately service business, commercial, and military aviation. That's a national challenge. We can't control that, but what we can control are those things that we do within the service. And as the Secretary laid out, it's about increasing production, it's about increasing retention through quality of service and quality of life initiatives, and it's about ensuring that we understand with great fidelity the data that drives the requirement for pilots to be able to do the nation's business.
Okay, General, on that last statement, and that follows up on what the Secretary said about validating the requirement, are you saying that the requirement might not quite be 2,000 pilots and it might not quite be 950 pilots? Is that what you're saying?
No, sir. What I'm saying is that where we actually place pilots, because to have a healthy and mature weapons system, you have to have enough pilots that actually fly the aircraft.
Okay, well, are you pretty sure that we're in the ballpark on a 2,000 pilot shortage?
Yes.
Okay. And do we need to be a part of a larger conversation with industry and, frankly, with our allies about the international pilot shortage? Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I think we do. This is a national shortage. I would say that the only pathway for someone outside of the military to get into the airlines I mean, there are very few of them. Crop dusting, some, flight instructing, or going overseas and flying with a foreign commercial carrier because they don't have the 1,500-hour requirement.
Thank you.